Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Final Takeaway live stream for September 4th, 2025. It's Thursday, one day before TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So you are definitely, well, you have something to look forward to because tomorrow will be Friday, the end of the week, the work week for some people. So welcome back. We are we were scheduled to start at 12:15. We have some people who are still coming into the live stream. So far, we have in the chat, we have Dude North. Good afternoon to everyone, to all of you. Shuri, Eugenia Shuri, Jillian Budu, and Lolita Tony. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Jillian Budu says, good day watching from Georgetown, Guyana. Tell us what's the atmosphere like in Georgetown? Is it like business as usual? Is everyone feeling good? What's the atmosphere like? Can you tell us? So we're not going to wait too long before we start, and of course, we don't want to keep the live stream for too long today. We do want to give you a quick update. I'll tell you in a moment what we're going to be looking at. Thanks to all of you who were tuned in last evening and yesterday and the days prior for the elections coverage. And like we said, we will be with you and continue to keep you up to date with the main top breaking updates on the elections whenever we have that information. Today, let's see. Actually, let's officially start the live stream. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining the Final Takeaways live stream today. We're glad you can make it back. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're our regular, we welcome you back. We're always happy to have all of you. So yes, thanks for joining us. And we hope that you are all having a fantastic day so far. We want to bring you some top headline news and updates on the Win Party's request for a recount of the ballots in Region 8. So stay tuned. And we do have, like I said, some top headlines to share with you, news out of Georgetown, Guyana. Alrighty, guys, welcome to the stream. We have 100 viewers and counting. So if you just joined, we'd like to welcome you again. For those of you who are already here, I see some familiar names. We want to welcome you back. Tell us, are you on your lunch break? Are you just out and about? What's up today with you? And, like I said, how is the atmosphere down in Guyana or whichever part of the world you're tuning in from? If it's in the US or in the Caribbean, what is it like there? So on your screen, we're going to be running some headlines. The first thing we want to cover is to tell you that a tragic news, actually, former national cyclist dies in an accident in Georgetown, Guyana. The former Guyanese nationalist Alonzo Greaves has lost his life in a motorcycle incident last evening, a motorcycle accident, and it's been fatal just before midnight last night. So that's definitely sad news for the family and, close friends and relatives. So our condolences to the family. We understand that 36-year-old Greaves of Gordon Street, Keeley, Georgetown, was pronounced dead, deceased at the scene. According to reports, he was riding his motorcycle at high speed before he lost control and met his demise. Reports also stated that Greaves was not wearing a safety helmet at the time of the accident. So, yes, that's definitely tragic news coming out of Guyana. Tell us if you heard about this and if there's any other information that you learned. We don't get the sense that it was a hit and run. So it looks like it was just an accident because he was riding very at a high speed and lost control of the motorcycle. Next up, we want to bring you an update from the Guyana Elections Commission. We're talking elections news. The Guyana Elections Commission rejects Win Party's request for ballot recounts for Region 8, Pataro Siparuni. Those of you who were in the live stream last night, we cover this. That was breaking news last night, where the leader, Azruddin Mohamed of the Win Party, had announced that the party has requested a recount for Region 8, a recount of the ballots cast in Region 8, Pataro Siparuni. And today we have an update, and the update is that GECOM has rejected the Win Party's request. So we'll explain some more, and we're going to walk you through some documentations and pretty much bring you up to speed as to why GECOM denied the request. And of course, we're going to compare that with the APNU party's request for a recount, which the said Guyana Elections Commission has approved the recount for a Partnership for National Unity party. So we'll discuss that. And I want to hear from you what your comments are, what you think about that, if you sense any discrimination, electoral discrimination, not racial bias or anything like that. We're talking about electoral discrimination. So we definitely want to hear from you on that. So much to the disappointment of the We Invest in Nationhood party, the Guyana Elections Commission has rejected the party's request for a recount of the ballots cast in Region 8, Pataro Siparuni. The party published a document pointing out several numeric discrepancies in the final vote tally sheet. We saw the document, we perused the document, and yes, there are some discrepancies in the numbers. The numbers are not, the math isn't mathing, okay? On the face of it, GECOM's decision appears to be electoral discrimination against the Win Party, since the said commission approved a recount request for APNU led by Aubrey Norton. Last night, if you were in the stream, we ran the clip with Aubrey Norton where he was saying the reasons why they want to recount. In summary, APNU feels that there's no way the People's Progressive Party could have won District 4, Region 4, because traditionally it is, or maybe now was, an opposition stronghold. So that's the reason for the recount, and GECOM has approved that request. Now, APNU, like I said, requested for Region 4 only, and I think they also want to do some recounts for other regions. I'm not sure about that, if that's going to be a separate request to GECOM and whether or not GECOM is going to approve that. I think maybe they want to recount for Region 10 too, because they lost in Region 10 to the Win Party, which dominated in Region 10, and then followed by the People's Progressive Party. Last night, we did let you know the total results all the results are out. GECOM has declared all the results for all the regions. So if you missed that, that's new as well. And it also projects that the People's Progressive Party, Civic, will be the governing party for the next 5 years. But this has not been announced officially as yet, because today, right now, as we speak, GECOM's officials they're supposed to be recounting for APNU today between 8 o'clock, I think 8 and the afternoon hours. So that's what's happening in Georgetown, Guyana. I haven't heard anything contrary, so we want to think that's what's happening right now, okay? So the next thing, the U.S. ambassador, well, the United States says it is open to working with Azruddin Mohamed and the Win Party. Let's yes. So we're going to take a closer look at that. Let's hear what the U.S. ambassador to Guyana says about this. Ruben, welcome back. Ruben, seems there is discrimination against Pataro. It is a remote and activist from the areas won't be able to adequately protest. Let's wait and see how that's going on. Let us know how your day is going. And I'm taking it you're tuning in from Venezuela. Let us know where you're tuning in from, Ruben. So this is the U.S. ambassador to Guyana, Nicole Theriot. She says that the U.S. is open to working with Mohamed and the Win Party in Parliament because, of course, they may be the opposition party and they have to go to Parliament. But with some exceptions. The ambassador, Nicole Theriot, told the media yesterday that the United States will find a way to accommodate the Win Party, which is likely to be the next opposition party in Guyana after the official declaration by GECOM. Now, remember, in the past, there were a lot of talks about, oh, well, the Win Party would be a waste of time, so don't vote for the Win Party because the United States, if they become the government of the day, if they win the election, or even now, if they're the opposition, the United States wouldn't want to work with Win. So therefore, cast your ballot for another party that's quote-unquote legit. But as we hear now from Ms. Theriot, the U.S., she says, is open to working with the Win Party as an opposition party that will be appearing in Parliament and helping to make laws and policies for the country. Again, this isn't official. I'm not saying that Win is going to be the main opposition party, but based on the results that have been declared and a press statement from the Guyana Department of Information that was released last evening, Win is in the second place. They're second place with the PPPC leading and the APNU, I believe, in third place. The statement did not say that APNU was in the third place, but I believe that's where they are, followed by the Forward Guyana movement based on the statements of polls and what we've been hearing from the press. But when it comes to the United States working with the Win Party, there's one caveat. The U.S. cannot engage in any financial transactions with Mohamed since he remains under sanctions for alleged criminal activities, including gold smuggling, tax evasion, and money laundering. And if you do remember the story, I'm sure you know the story front to back to front. The U.S. sanctioned Mohamed and a PPP government official or former government official, May Thomas, along with Azruddin's father, Nazar Mohamed. So the ambassador says, quote, "We have had OFAC sanctioned individuals in governments in other places of the world, several in fact, and we find ways to work around that." So all of those concerns that the Win Party supporters had about whether or not they should vote for the Win Party because maybe the party will be null and void and not able to function because the leader is under sanctions by the United States, all of that has been debunked basically now with the U.S. ambassador saying, hey, you know what? The U.S. is open to working with Mohamed, so no big deal. You see how easy that all came to nothing and all that working up and all every week government officials bashing the Win Party about the sanctions. And listen to what the U.S. ambassador is saying. Now the U.S. is open to working with the Win Party. Okay, so now let's have a conversation on the main topic for today, which is GECOM's rejection of Win's request for a recount of the ballots cast in Region 8. Is there anyone in this chat, in this live stream from Region 8? Let me know and send me a shout out. Okay, so what are your thoughts so far on all of this that we have just covered? We're going to get on the real story today, which is we're going to be discussing Azruddin Mohamed and GECOM's dismissal of his request for a recount. First things, we're going to, where do we start? Okay. We're going to take a look at the documentations to the request, and we'll tell you what the Win Party said in response. Alrighty, on your screen, you should be seeing this statement. T. Mohammed's Facebook page seems to be the official press statement platform for the Win Party. It says the GECOM refused Win's request for Region 8 recount. The Win Party rejects the position taken by the Guyana Elections Commission in its letter dated September 3rd, 2025, which dismisses our request for a recount in District 8, Petaro Siparuni. The candidate in question was duly nominated and officially appointed by our election agent to serve as the agent at the count. This appointment is valid under the law and cannot be arbitrarily disregarded. We note with concern that while GECOM acknowledges our candidate's accreditation for the count at Madia Primary School, it now seeks to disqualify her from exercising her lawful role at the wider district level. This contradiction undermines the fairness and transparency of the process. Are you with me? Are you following with me? Great. Moreover, when the figures were released on Form 24, and we're going to show you Form 24 in a moment because there are discrepancies on there and the math isn't mathing. Therefore, hence the reason Win is calling for a recount of this region. Even a single discrepancy is, reason enough to ask for a recount. When the figures were released on Form 24 for District 8, Petaro Siparuni, discrepancies become apparent. The numbers are off, and this only reinforces the urgent need for a full recount in District 8. The people of Guyana deserves nothing less than an election that is credible, transparent, and free from arbitrary restrictions on lawful representatives. We further note that serious irregularities have already come to light. State-aligned newsroom published the very Form 24, which exposed discrepancies in the figures, that's the numbers on the tally sheet, on the final results that were declared by GECOM for Region 8. This act of concealment underscores the skullduggery at play and deepens public suspicion about the integrity of the process. So what is Mohamed and his party really talking about? So first of all, let's look at the document Form 24. This is the Form 24 that Mohamed is referring to. For the polling district Petaro Siparuni, it says right here, this is an official GECOM documentation, okay? It says everything. The how many votes for which party, and then it tells you over here the number of valid votes, which was 5767, and then it tells you how many spoiled votes, how many destroyed ballots, how many tendered ballots used. Then it says on line 6 here, it says rejected ballots, right? So if you look here, it says the number of ballots that had an issue with the official stamp or seal or mark, then how many ballots were void or they were uncertain about those ballots, how many ballots had more than one list of candidates marked as the candidate the voter was voting for, and how many ballots were yes. Okay, there were ballots where 6 ballots where the voters placed a marking that GECOM says were identifiers. Maybe they put their name on the their names on the ballot. Now, come on. Come on now. So the total, it says here, the total rejected ballot papers were 103. However, this is the markings from the win party as to the discrepancies that they discovered in the numbers. I crunched the numbers myself, and I'm telling you, the math isn't mathing. First of all, when I added everything up, this number here, so it's supposed to be 90. If you add all of these numbers from line right here all the way down here, from line 3 to 6, you'll see you're supposed to get 90, not 103. I'm not sure what this 68 is for. The other thing too, when you do the math, this number 5780 as the number of persons who appear to have voted in the district, 5,780. I'm not sure who did this math. When I did it myself, this number is also wrong. I'm not sure who did this. This number here, after you do the math, it's supposed to be 5,870. Instead, they have 5,780. So somewhere along the line, the numbers were inverted based on my calculations. And instead of having 5870 as the total, it is 5780. So usually when they tally the votes, they have to enter the information into the computer. That's how they're able to print this out, and someone has to put it in. And it's not AI, I think. It's a human, it's a person. And human errors happen all the time, especially if there's no systems for cross-checking and fact-checking the numbers before this very important document that says which party is leading or how many votes were cast has errors clearly on it. So even if it's only one document that has an error, that will call into question the legitimacy, the transparency, the accuracy of the votes that were cast, and whether or not it truly reflects who won this district, or how many votes were cast, or how many votes were allotted to a particular party. So that's the issue that WIN has with GECOM right now, and was asking, based on this, asking for a recount, because obviously this is incorrect. Let's call it for what it is. You can do the math. This is incorrect. So the WIN party decided to ask GECOM to, you can see that. The WIN party decided to ask GECOM request a recount for Pataro Siparuni, Region 8. GECOM responds on yesterday, September 3rd, 2025, tells the WIN party that, and of course you see here, Guyana Elections Commission, the chief returning officer's signature here. So this is a legitimate document based, I believe. So the Guyana Elections Commission acknowledges receipt of your request. This is their response to the WIN party of your request for a recount of the ballots cast in the Pataro Siparuni polling district. Our records reveal that whereas you are an accredited candidate to the poll count for Madia Primary School and Madia Primary School 1 to Z, I to Z, I think, you are not an accredited counting agent or a duly appointed candidate to the count for district number 8. Therefore, your letter requesting a general recount for district 8 is null and void. In other words, no. That's a hard no. We are not going to allow a recount for the WIN party, says GECOM. So, Mohamed has an issue with this. We don't know yet what's next for the party in terms of this, if they're going to follow this up or if this is the end of that. But clearly there are discrepancies on this document, and I'm taking this as an official document. I don't believe that Mohamed party would upload a fake document. I don't want to think that to their official press statement website. Okay, you tell me what you think in the comment section about all this shenanigans. Okay, so we have close to 300 people today. I know it's midday, and it's the middle of the week. People are working, and so on and so on. Oh, someone says final takeaway is your mic low. Okay, let me turn that up. The last time I turned it up, thank you 008PH for letting me know that. I just saw that. I'm sorry about that. I hope you guys were hearing me clearly. Okay, so the thing is, can you hear me clearly now? Okay, so what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? Let's take a look at some of the comments. Oh, I was saying that I know that it's the middle of the week. It's Thursday. It's a weekday. People are working. I wanted to bring the live stream during the lunch period. For most people, go to lunch at between 12 noon and 1 p.m. So I thought maybe I'll be able to, have some viewers who are on break. And in addition to those individuals who are fortunate enough to not have to work, but they're getting taken care of. I want to be like that. I want to be getting, I want someone to take care of me so I don't have to work. So I'm just kidding. So, but the thing is, I'm glad you were able to join us. And that's pretty much our main update for today, besides the breaking headlines on the news in Guyana. Okay, so you can hear me a little better. Let me see what I can do about this microphone. Hey guys, I'm so sorry. Can you tell me what's the last thing you heard? Because I was chatting away and my mic was muted. We're sorry about that. We're so sorry about that. Okay. So, did you hear the last thing I said about the recount and the numbers? Did you hear me when I was explaining why Azruddin Mohamed's party requested a recount, and I also spoke about the numbers and things like that? Did you hear that? Because that was the last important thing I said. Okay. Please let me know. But please follow us on Facebook. I just dropped the link in the bottom of the chat. No, J edits. No, the PPP. Well, we according to GECOM, I'm responding to J edits. Did PPP win? The PPP party is projected to be the winner according to GECOM, but the official results have not yet been declared because the APNU party has requested a recount. Does that answer your question? Okay. So, yes, when someone asked me if the PPP is threatening the final takeaway, no, to stop broadcasting. No, 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 no. We haven't had such request. And my audio was off, and I think you probably missed what I said. But if you did miss what I said that no, we are not being threatened, and that we're an independent news agency, news channel, not news, but an independent media platform, because we do more than bring the news. We do more critiques and analysis and stuff like that. And no, we're not getting threats from anybody. And I don't believe that we have to worry about that, because we are an independent platform and we thrive and believe in freedom of speech and fairness of use and all those different things. So no, we're not worried about that. Now, I did hear from the elections observers that the media, the local media, were restricted in some sense, or felt restricted in some sense, by the government in terms of being able to provide transparent coverage of the elections. So that's why independent media like this one, or any other media that's truly independent of the government or opposition parties, like the Final Takeaway, when you have those type of media outlets, you're able to get unfiltered information. Accurate, of course, you want accurate, credible information, but when you get it unfiltered, and that media channel or platform is really not worried about stepping on anyone's toes, then you can really and truly get more, I'd say, more expansive information. And so because that channel is not bogged down by, oh, we have to worry about stepping on someone's toes and we have to be politically correct in order to stay online or on the radio or on television. No, we don't have to worry about that, to answer your question, 008PH. Will Chris Dawson says, oh, you just joined. So we ran the live from 12:15. We wanted to wrap up at 1 o'clock. We didn't want to hold everyone up because I know it's Thursday and people have to go back to work and we've already kind of covered. But let me give you a recap, Will Chris Dawson. We covered, mainly we were focusing on Win Party's request for a recount of the ballots in Region 8, which is Spitaro Siparuni, but that GECOM rejected the Win Party's request on the ground that they did not have the prerequisites, the right accreditation to either request or be part or engage in a recount or have GECOM activate a recount for the party in Region 8. That's what we were really focusing on. And so we don't know what's going to come of that. We're going to keep our ears to the ground to see what's next for the Mohamed party. Potentially, they could initiate a court case on this matter, asking the court to decide on whether GECOM has violated any rules or the Constitution in allowing the party to have a recount. And next to that, on the other end, you have the APNU party that requested a recount, and GECOM approved the request. So we asked the question whether or not you guys think this is electoral discrimination against the Win Party, and if so, why? If so, why? Why wouldn't they want to have a recount? Even if there were no accreditations prior, there could be some rule or some law or even a discretion on the behalf of GECOM to allow the Win Party to have the recount and provide the necessary accreditation after the fact. I don't see why they can't just do that. So let me know what you think. J. Edith says, power makes the world turn on your favor in this matter. Could you explain that a little bit more? Are you speaking about like power in terms of the party, the various parties' powers in this race? Okay, so Ruben says, oh, you're responding to. Okay, that wasn't to me. So that's about it, I guess. Oh, here, Carlson Floyd. We have a. Did you have a Carlson Floyd? If you're still there, let me know. Send me a shout out if you're still there. We have Carlson Floyd in the room, and Carlson Floyd is a VIP member. Yay! I see you're flying that emoji. Oh, that fancy green emoji. If you're wondering why Carlson Floyd has a green, it's like a crown for a king emoji. It's because he signed up to our memberships, and I think that is it the silver you got? He says, I always knew that the United States was blowing a lot of hot air with its earlier statements regarding working with Win. Those statements were definitely designed to steer Guyanese away from supporting Win. Now, yes, on the face of it, I would agree with that. Was it intentional? We don't know. But, like I said, I spoke about the concept of unconscious bias. There is overt and covert biases, and we don't know. But the thing is, I remember in one of her statements, Nicole Theriot said that, oh, the United States is happy with the way Guyana is being ran, and we don't know how things are going to be if there's a change in government. I know she said it in jest, but that was saying a lot. Like, okay, we want things to remain the way they are because we're comfortable with how Guyana is and how it's being run. And I think that is that to me was overstepping into politics. And the U.S. administration did come out at one point and ask their ambassadors not to engage in politics and interference in another person's, in a sovereign country's affairs, after that particular statement had come out from Theriot. But generally, I think she means well. But if in her statements the public is perceiving there is some sort of bias or leaning towards a political party or against a political party, that can overshadow, the reputation of the U.S. ambassador's office. Carlson Fly says yes. Says he's great. So you see that if you want to have that green emoji alongside your comment, Carlson Floyd is a VIP member. Also, we have some top fans. Let's see who our top fans are here today. Right now, we have the Thurbo, who is a top fan. We have Carlson Floyd. So top is the Thurbo, and then next we have number 2 at number 2. Okay, let me start over. At number 1, the Turbo. Number 2, second place, J Edith. And coming in third, Mr. Guyana at number 3 with the green crown emoji that you can get, or you can get the platinum or the gold emoji with a membership. Show your support. We appreciate you. And remember, I just dropped the link in the bottom for you to click on that quickly. Just click on it and follow us on Facebook. I think since I started advertising the Facebook recently, we got 5 new followers. So please, we have to really build our audience on Facebook. We want you. We cannot do it without you. So please, thank you for doing so for us. And then we have Lolita Tony. We have Ruben. We have Public Service. All of those people are in the top fans list here. And some of the names we recognize, okay? We're going to call you by your screen name, okay? J Edith says, I feel bad for Mr. Mohamed. We appreciate your comment. I'm sure his supporters are upset. They had a lot, they had some sentiments. They're upset. They're not happy with the decision either. And this whole sense that I'm going to throw this out there. There is the theory that the reason why GECOM doesn't want to do the recount, is obvious according to people who are suspicious about this. And maybe, if a recount is done, the numbers are going to come out vastly differently in favor of the Win Party and against the PPP. And therefore, if you do a recount in one region and there is massive discrepancies, what's going to happen after that is going to open Pandora's box. It's going to open a can of worms. Because now we're going to have to we're going to have to recount all the regions. Now, GECOM doesn't want that. So, to stop the bleeding, to prevent the bleeding, GECOM says, okay, we're not going to allow any recount. Maybe they're confident about Region 4, that they're allowing the recount in Region 4, because maybe, factually speaking, when the APNU did not perform as well as it thought or expected or believed it would. So GECOM is okay with that recount. But when it comes to Region 8, why not Region 8? What's the diff? Jazz Idiots asked me what party you would vote. Oh, you would have voted for. What party you voted for? Oh, me? No, I am not part of that process at all. I am not part of that process. I cannot even vote if I wanted to. I would have to sneak in and hide my face with some heavy dark glasses and have someone else's identification who's deceased and pretend to be that person and get past the system and vote. That's the only way. That's the only way. And from what I understood, the voters list is padded. It is padded, and the the elections observers from overseas, have asked again for Guyana and the Guyana Elections Commission to clean up the voters list. The list had almost, if not more, well, or almost the number of people of the entire population based on our reports. How are you going to have a voters list that is matching the entire population? And by the way, you didn't have a census in 2022 when you should have at the 10-year mark. But, or if you did, that census was not published. It's not on the website of the Guyana Bureau of Statistics. So technically, Guyana did not have a census since 2012. So the country does not know its real population. And with heavy migration to all parts of the world, people leaving Guyana for obvious reasons, then, oh yes, and people are coming too. So truly, we don't know what's the population. So the question of a bloated voters list or a padded voters list comes into question at an election that is so important as this one. And so, yes, there were indications that there were people on the list that are deceased or have migrated, and their names are on the list. So, yes, I could put on my dark shades and, put my hands on somebody's ID who's deceased or lives overseas. But I'm just kidding. My point is, when you have systems that are not designed to protect against these type of stuff, or there are people whose names are on the list, it opens the door for these types of discrepancies and for people to vote who are not eligible to vote. Peace says contradiction all around. Wolf chairwoman is okay. Will Chris Dawson says the GECOM chairwoman is compromised. Speaking about the GECOM chairperson, where is Claudette Singh? Where is she? Have you seen her this entire time on elections day, the day after, even now? Did you hear anything? I don't think we heard anything or so. And I think the media, a reporter asked at a press conference on elections day and the day before elections day, hey, what's up with Claudette Singh? We haven't seen her. What's up with her? Is she okay? We don't know what's happening. So the chairperson is MIA, missing in action. We don't know. So that's another thing you want to know. Where is she? Why is she visibly MIA? Ruben says it looks like presidents in all countries just find a way to get reelected forever. Kenneth Williams says they just have to accept defeat and let the county move on. Kenneth Williams from Trinidad. And welcome, Kenneth Williams from Trinidad. How is the weather in Trinidad today? Will Chris Dawson says GECOM is the root cause of this. I'm not sure if it's this message or yes. Okay, so we've covered the main thing, and we're going to likely come back soon. Not necessarily today. We don't know as yet. If anything happens, anything breaking after the recount, we want to know what happened. So we're definitely going to try to come back or upload a video about what is the results of the recount that the APNU requested. It's on the way today, we understand, and we're not sure how soon GECOM is going to publish the results of that recount. But we have our ears to the ground and our eyes glued to the screens, and we're going to update you soon, okay? We want to thank all of you for coming through today. Will Chris Dawson says total recount or nothing at all. Yes, and that would be definitely a tedious task. I don't think that that's something that GECOM would want to entertain. Maybe, yes, but I could be wrong. That would definitely be a tedious process, and it's going to delay the declaration of the results. But, for in the interest of accountability, transparency, and trust in the system, if the recount needs to be done, then so be it. But again, yes, that's asking a lot. Okay, so Will Chris Dawson said they did it in 2020. So there's a chance that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to head for a recount if there are major discrepancies, because people are not going to believe the results. And, in the interest of peace, to have peace prevail, and so that there is no potential for any unrest, maybe it's the right thing to do, but we don't know. We have to wait and see. Alvin Karan says, what Norton know, he know nothing, he is okay. Will Chris says we have the patience to wait. Yes, democracy. Hopefully democracy prevails in Guyana. Carlson Floyd says like nothing ever happened. Can you explain that a little bit more, Carlson Floyd? Victimization is real, says Peace. Contradiction all around. Kenneth Williams say they just have to accept defeat. Yes, I did read that already. All right. This matter should go to the CCJ, says Will Chris Dawson. We will see. There is potential. We already have the Forward Guyana movement that is planning to appeal, or may have already appealed, the case that was dismissed last weekend, I believe, by the court. The FGM, led by Amanda Walton Desire, they brought a court case about the ballots that were excluded from several regions for the Forward Guyana Movement Party, which would have disenfranchised voters who were planning to vote for the Win Party. I think I have that correct, that information. That's what. And so the court dismissed the case, and we understand that the party has appealed the case, or is planning on or working on appealing the case all the way to the Caribbean Court of Justice, if that's what it takes to get answers about why this party was disenfranchised. Oh, yes. Okay, Carlson Floyd. Now I understand your statement. The reluctance of the government to release the census data. I have to look back into that so we can go back and see why, refresh your memory as to why there was no census, at least not one that's published on the Guyana Bureau of Statistics website, because that's the official website for those types of statistics for the census. And last we checked, there has been no census that was published since 2012, and usually Guyana has a census every 8 to 10 years. So yes, they're due for a census, or if they had one in 2022, as it seems, then publish the information. But here we are. J. Edith says, I'm not going to talk about, because I don't know how serious people okay, I'm not sure who you're referring to. Will Chris Dawson says all the opposition parties should put their pride aside and work in unison. Yes. The issue is ideology, and the reason why they are separate parties is because usually political parties have different ideologies. When two parties, maybe two opposition parties, or two opposition parties, for example, have similar political ideologies, then it makes it easier for them to form an alliance or collate and work in unison. But typically, who wants to share power? Like, people in power, it goes without saying, do not want to share power. whether it's a government or a household where one spouse is, perceived to be the most powerful spouse or the most powerful partner. When that person doesn't want to share power, they want to dominate, they want to control the situation, and usually there's always a dominant and a subordinate person in that type of setting. So again, in government, let's translate that to governance. You have a dominating ruling party and the subordinates are the opposition. That's how it is. Nobody wants to relinquish power like that unless it serves them better to collate. That's my opinion. You let me know what you think. I understand, Jay Edits. You said the APNU has to have a vision and see better for our country. Well, here's where we're at, and the PPPC has announced before GECOM, nonetheless, that the PPPC has won the election based on GECOM's information so far declared prior to the request for recounts, that the PPPC is in the lead and predicted to be the winner of the elections and will return to office for a second term under the Ali administration. And we're told, now this isn't verified, we're told by the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Jagdeo, that not only did the PPP win, but they won overwhelmingly in Region 4 as well, in that they are coming back stronger with a larger majority in Parliament, which means they have more power, potentially unfettered power in Parliament. Let's see how that goes down. Okay, guys. So once again, thank you for tuning in. I think I've covered all the questions, try to answer and respond and, engage with you on this live stream. We appreciate your time. If you have to go back to work, please do so. Don't get in trouble. And we're going to catch up with you pretty soon. Just keep your ear out, your eyes out for our notifications to let you know when we're going live again. Potentially not this evening unless something crazy happens, crazy as in newsworthy, to jump on the live stream and give you that information right away. So if that's the case and we do that, we will look forward to seeing you in our next live stream. Thank you so much. Air hugs, and we are going to be back soon to hang out with you guys. If you like, you can stick around until the stream ends, or you can sign out, you can check out, and either way, it's fine with us. But we will see you pretty soon. Oh, wow. Will Chris Dawson says, love you. My heart's melted. Like, oh, wow. Love you right back, Will Chris Dawson. You see, you have me tongue tied. You can't say the word love to me. It just throws me off. Now I can't think straight. Bye, Will Chris Dawson. We'll see you soon, okay? Air hugs. Okay, yeah, one last thing. Barbara Barron. I missed your comment. GECOM work for the government. You did say that right. right enough. But what happened to the party worker at the polling station? Well, they're still coming on. Oh, the party worker at the polling station. They're still subject to the laws and the rules of GECOM, even though the parties had their candidates working at the polling station. GECOM is still the dominant force in all of this, and they're the head person in charge, so to speak, and they basically are going to make the ultimate decision as to whether or not there's going to be a recount. And so far, for the Win Party, unfortunately, it's a hard no. Baron also says, so it's Baron. Lots of the Guyanese just fed up with the PNC, the APNU coalition party. Well, if the results are accurate, yes, apparently voters didn't come out and vote for the APNU party, the PNCR party, the way the party expected, and that says a lot, and that hopefully is informative for the previous. Well, not yet. I don't want to call it yet. Informative for the APNU and its leaders and its executive members, those who are leading the party, that would be informative, and a lot of groundwork will have to be done in order to prepare them for the next election cycle, so they can come back strong and give the ruling party a good competition. And who doesn't like a good competition? Now, we don't have favorites. I told you that already. We don't have favorites. We are not a part of the Guyanese electoral system. We don't have a dog in the race, no interest in terms of the voting. But we're here to look at what's happening and provide information, analysis, news, stuff like that, to keep you guys informed and to dig deep and to bring to you things that you may miss or you may see, but you're not sure what are the implications. So we come to this live stream or on our videos to break things down for you so that you can have a deeper understanding. Now, we know you guys are smart and you understand, yes, but what we do is we go far and wide, we dig for the information, and then we come back and we give it to you unfiltered. See you later, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is me saying, see you soon.